What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we are hanging out with our new friend Jim here, and you guys may have questions about warranties and insurance and AAA type things and what all these differences are and what do you need. Well, that's why this guy's here, because we don't know what we're talking about, but this guy is an expert. So we're gonna pick his brain and talk about some of like the top 10 questions that you might have about warranties.
All the things that I asked this guy before we started, and he goes, I'm sure it's fine. Okay, comforting.
Hey guys, my name's James.
And I'm Ashley.
Last year we sold our house and we're traveling across the country with our kids.
Hi, my name's Goose, and this is Maverick. Come join us!
Before we jump into today's vlog, I want to let you know it is a longer video, so if you want to look down below in the description, I will link up the specific questions that we're going to be talking about. So if you're here either the first or the second time, you can go down there and look at questions you might be specifically interested in and then jump to that time code, because you might not want to sit through this whole video. I think it's really interesting and fascinating information, and I especially know when we first started traveling, I would have loved to know this information, because I do feel like this is important information to know, whether you use it or not, whether you are so anti-warranty or pro-warranty. There are so polar opposite sides, it's almost like politics, but I do think it is good information to know. And I do want to be completely transparent. This is a sponsored video with wholesale warranties, so if you guys do click the link down below and end up purchasing something, it will help us out as well. But enough about that, let's jump into the vlog. Jim, why don't you introduce yourself, give everybody your like 30-second elevator pitch about who you are and what you do.
Perfect. Thanks again, James and Ashley, for having us on. I'm really excited. My name's Jim Hoffman. I'm the VP of Operations at Wholesale Warranties. We're an online broker, one of the larger ones, and we really pride ourselves on just educating. At the end of the day, we prefer to educate our clients on what a warranty is, what it covers, what it doesn't cover, and ultimately, at the end of the day, is it right for you, and is it something that you would like? We've been around for about 15 years. We're a small company headquartered out in California, and we really do whatever we can to support not only our clients, but the RV community as a whole. That said, I'm really, really excited that you guys brought us on. Very appreciative, and I'm excited to get going.
Well, yeah, thanks for letting us pick your brain.
Of course.
So we have a list of questions here. I think you've got the same list. So
I love the...
Well, I gotta zoom in and look at my phone.
Go ahead,
so,
Grandpa.
Question number one. All right, this is actually the question that I came up with, because I was, like, when we were talking early on, I was confused about the big differences between warranties and insurance, and when you need a warranty and when you need insurance, and kind of like, is there crossover, or can you kind of give us a breakdown about that and how that works?
Yeah, and that, that's probably one of the most popular questions that RVers want to know is what is the difference? Is there an overage? Is there not? And really, at the end of the day, the insurance title should kind of stick and stay with kind of what you were mentioning, Ashley, your AAA, your State Farm. That's comprehensive collision, natural disasters, things along those lines. If something's been in an accident, or floods, things along that nature. Warranties, extended warranties, vehicle service contracts are more for the mechanical components. So not really the aesthetics, if you will, or acts of God, things along those lines. It's more, for us in the RV community, it's more prevalent to slides, awnings, things like that, that your normal insurance that's state required doesn't cover.
The things that can add up.
Okay, so let me list a few of the things that have happened to us, and you tell me insurance or warranty.
Let's play a game. Okay,
so first off, tire or wheel blowouts.
Okay, now I'm going to put an asterisk on this. First thing is there's different types of coverage, right? There's kind of like your comp and collision insurance that you carry on your rig. You might have comp and collision, you may have uninsured motorist, you may have different deductibles. So put that to the side. So tire and wheel isn't typically covered under an extended vehicle contract. However, there are ancillary programs available that are really, really affordable. Just like kind of AAA back in the day when they would offer roadside with their comp and collision, There's programs like that specific for RVs that, are, like I said, are incredibly reasonable for a multitude of years. So that one, unfortunately, not under the umbrella, if you will. However, very affordable option for those that inquire about it.
All right, so not covered in warranty, but like an add-on type.
Like
of
a
thing.
last minute, add it to my basket.
Okay.
Exactly.
Next one, furnace. Whether it be the furnace itself or maybe an electrical connection between the furnace and the thermostat. I'm giving very specific because this is what that
Very. Do you have a work order that you can share?
Oh
No.
my gosh. It was cold.
So, yeah. So, electrical, yes, under most programs. Heat, AC, things along those lines, yes. Those are usually covered. Again, there's different types of coverage, and whether if it's powertrain or engine only, then that's specifically for that one, specifically the engine or the transmission. But I would say for most coverages, yes, your air conditioning, your heater, things along those lines.
All right, and last one, I think you already mentioned it though, slide motors or slide issues.
Yes. So those are, so I would say we're 2 out of 3 on those. Again,
Hey, that's good.
the best thing we could do to know if something would be covered or not is by looking at a work order. However, on your generalities, yeah, your slides. At the end of the day, RVs that they're going to have slides, they're going to have airbags underneath for the leveling system. The type of coverage based on what you're looking for as an individual will articulate what things are and aren't covered. However, in general, your last 2 would definitely fall under the umbrella.
Okay.
Like that.
Don't mean to put you on the spot. I was just listening. I came to mind. So.
Not that these have ever happened to us.
No, and we never hear about the the breakdowns and the if
praying
the kids were
that if you push it in, it will go in.
We've literally pushed in the slides before to try and help slow the grinding down.
Right, yes. Slides are by far the most common, and those are the things that you use the most, and there's a lot of weight differentials. So there's a lot of things that go into that, but those are often covered.
Cool. Well, I think we already answered question 2, which was talking about tires and wheels, because you talked about the ancillary coverage for that. So question 3 I have on the list is one of the big questions I hear a lot of people when they're talking about warranties and whatnot are, you're stuck going to this specific place for getting service. How does that work specifically with you guys in your warranties? Where can you go if, say, I'm in Florida and have a breakdown, or if I'm in New York or whatever, because we're all over the country? Yeah,
and I think that question arises from a lot of disgruntled policyholders from back in the day. Oftentimes, if you buy a warranty at a dealership, they basically put a clause in there that they want you to come back to that particular facility if you're within a certain mile radius. Since we're an online broker and we have the option to sell multiple policies, one of the main things that we always look for is repair facility. Because just to your point, if you're in a state that you're not aware, you're not familiar with or what have you, it shouldn't limit you. So not only do our policies articulate that you can go to any repair facility as long as it has a business license. So that's really what we look for. And it also includes mobile mechanics. So there's often times that you might be in a remote spot or, not to put you on the spot, James, but maybe there's just something that you're not 100% confident or comfortable with.
Never.
I'm putting it out there. The mobile feature is a really great resource, and it's very convenient for a lot of RVers. And personally, in these economic times, I love the idea that there's a small business out there, maybe a one-man shop, who's just really informative on the RV. The mobile mechanic is a good one. But to answer your question, for the policies that we sell, it's any business license.
I love that you include the mobile repairs, because that's huge, because that helps so much, especially if you have a breakdown at a campground or something and you can't get to a facility, they can come to you, which is amazing.
BLM land or something.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys support like the small business owners. That's awesome.
That's cool.
And there's a lot of RVers that are full-time as well. And so the idea of bringing it to a shop and leaving it there for a couple of days to wait for parts or wait for the timing of the mechanics, there's a lot to be said about that feature.
That's a daunting thought, to be like, oh my gosh.
Especially when you have kids.
Yeah, and a great day.
Yeah.
No big deal. Can we bring?
No.
Can we bring?
We're not outnumbered. Not at all.
Yeah.
You guys got it.
All right, next question. This is one, again, that I was thinking of because we've done a lot of add-ons like solar and battery and stuff like that. Now, I can kind of guess that wouldn't be covered because it's not from the manufacturer, but what you tell me, is any of that kind of add-on stuff covered or aftermarket add-ons?
So if it's done by the manufacturer, it is.
Oh.
So one of the things that you kind of want to remember with as it pertains to warranties is if the manufacturer spec'd it a certain way and built it a certain way, that's what the warranty is designed to cover. Now, if it is an add-on aftermarket, then that would be something that is typically excluded. So if you, for example, if you went out and maybe you installed your own solar panel after the fact, that wouldn't be covered. Even if it was done by a licensed facility, that wouldn't be covered. But if you spec'd your rig or if your rig came from the factory within a certain set, and pending, again, on the different level of coverage that you have, some of those items would be covered.
Okay, cool. So, out-of-pocket expenses. So we usually know with warranties, insurance, and things you have deductibles. Are there similar things, I'm assuming, with warranties? How does that process work? Are there any other hidden fees potentially other than, I have a breakdown, I'm expected to pay my $500 deductible or whatever it is?
Okay, fair. And that one is pretty common because, again, I think anybody out there, there's kind of two types of consumers, people who are okay with warranties and people who just don't like them, right? And those that don't like them, sometimes it may have something to do with how much knowledge or education they've had with them. As it pertains to the policies that we offer, unless we indicate differently, it is a one-stop, meaning that if you call or go to a mechanic and say, look, I got a laundry list of items right now, and they get diagnosed, that is considered a one-stop. So that's only a one-time deductible. Sorry, where I was going with that is that
we've all been there.
You can, it happens. You can get all those items repaired under one deductible as long as those things are presented at the time. Now, if you kind of go back the next week, next month, and say, hey, this also is happening, then that would be a second trip or a second stop. As far as hidden fees or anything like that, thankfully, everything's really well articulated, and we encourage our team to make sure that we're educating and informing our customers of what is and what isn't. Like shipping, for example, oftentimes shipping is excluded in just about most of the policies that we offer. So that might be some little part of a repair if and when it is needed. But our goal whenever we talk to a potential customer or even our current clients is to make sure that they're educated on what they're getting into. Oftentimes, high 90s, you go in with a laundry list of items that are covered under your contract, you'll just pay your deductible, and that's about it.
Cool. I love how transparent you are as far as mentioning things about shipping and whatnot, and not trying to be like, oh no, you're good. So I appreciate that.
No.
Next question. Transferable. Our policy. So say we either buy one now on our used rig, or we've got a warranty when it's brand new. If in a year or two from now we decide to either switch rigs and sell this one or whatnot, does that warranty disappear? Are we lost out of all that money? How does can you transfer?
It's all gone. We just keep it all. It's
That's what I thought.
Peace out.
So one of the great things about a service agreement or a warranty contract is it does live differently than your insurance, your comp and collision, your State Farm, for example. All of our policies are not only optional for a prorated refund. So in an example of if you have it if you buy a policy for 4 years, you keep your rig for 2, you can cancel that policy and get about a 50% refund. Usually you kind of use that matrix. Now, what a lot of our customers do, because the RV community we love the fact that you get in a rig and you fall in love with the whole community and experience of traveling and all this stuff. People might either upgrade or downgrade based on what their niche is or what they found to be their preference. Oftentimes people will list their rig for sale with a policy already attached. And so to answer your question, yeah, it is transferable, and it's relatively easy paperwork. One of the things that I take a lot of pride in with wholesale warranties is we have dedicated staff along this process for you. So although we're not the administrator on the claim side, we have a team that is there to help you through the claims process. And also on the cancellation or transfer, we have a team there to help you with that process. So different than a lot of other avenues of buying a warranty and then you just kind of have it and you're like, okay, now what? We try to be there through the entire journey with you. So yeah, you can transfer them, you can get prorated refunds. Oftentimes people will cancel their policy and roll those funds into a new one when they get their new rig.
Oh, interesting.
So we try to be as flexible and convenient as we can and as the warranty companies will allow us.
Very cool. Next question here is, what will the policy cover? What does it exclude? Can you just kind of give us, maybe, I'm sure there are different levels of policies. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. I think anytime you go out and, if you're looking to get an extended warranty, there are going to be different levels of coverage. There's different administrators. Obviously, first part is to make sure that you read the policy or ask the right questions. I think all too often we hear people who come to us after the fact that maybe purchased at a dealership or somewhere else. The bottom line coverage is powertrain and engine. And those are really designed for the big breakdown. So I lost my diesel engine. It's a $20,000, $30,000 ticket. That kind of the powertrain engine only, that's where that one sits. The next one up is a listed component, which you'll see somewhere in the terminology in those contracts. And that's basically listing everything that is covered.
Just to interrupt you here, you're talking in generals, right? This isn't just for wholesale warranties, right? This is
Correct.
for all. So for those of you guys that maybe don't, or think that we're specifically talking only about what they have, this is like if you're going to buy a new rig and say the dealership offers you a warranty, this is all information that you can use to help you when deciding whether or not you should go with theirs or whatnot, just to kind of educate you. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah?
You are. And really at the end of the day, we want to be a resource. So even if you're buying at a dealer or somebody that's not us, we do encourage you to call us to get a really good understanding, because not only are the different levels of coverage, there's different ones, but they can be really tricky. So when I say listed, everything listed would be covered. Then there's the next tier up, which is exclusionary, which then what that does is everything bullet pointed is excluded. Therefore, what's not on that list is covered. So even after all these years of trying to articulate it, it can still come out and sound confusing.
Yeah, I like the breakdown for dummies. On the list, you're good. Not on the list, bad.
Right. And the thing is this is our business, right? This is our core focus as a business. Oftentimes, the other avenues to get a warranty come from something where it's an add-on or a secondary level, right? Using a dealership for an example, they're there to their core business is to buy and sell RVs. It's not the warranty process or articulating it down to what the customer should be comfortable with. So when we talk about whether it's listed or exclusionary, again, even if it's something where you're not buying, we're not the channel for you, we do encourage you to call us and use us as a guide or as an asset. So not only do you feel comfortable, but to answer those types of questions.
Would the flux capacitor be covered if it breaks?
That's one from my generation.
I literally
Yeah, I was
started
gonna
watching
say.
that movie last night. I hadn't seen it in years, so I put that movie on last night and started watching it while I was doing laundry.
Then got distracted.
That's awesome. So take, for example, us. We've been... Words are hard sometimes, okay?
Try that again. Yeah, exactly.
So take, for example, us. We've been in our rig for 2.5 years now or so. Is it too late for us to get an extended warranty? Do we have to get it right when it comes off the lot? Like, when, if you're thinking about a warranty, when should you be thinking about it?
I think a general sales answer is sooner the better, right? But let me back up and say you should get a warranty when you're comfortable getting one. Now there's benefits on getting one sooner than later. So if you get a new rig, the administrator, the warranty company takes into account that you have a manufacturer's warranty on certain pieces, for lack of a better term, of that rig. So they know that things like your engine are going to be covered under the manufacturer for X amount of time. So you can get a lower rate with a longer term when it's newer.
Okay.
And then the other thing to keep in mind, the way the RV industry is today is the way that they rate it typically is model year, miles, and value. So the longer you wait, the more that those things increase. So if you have a 2017 today, it's 3 model years. If you wait till next year, it becomes 4 model years, literally January 1. And that's going to put it into a different risk category.
December is what you're saying.
December is actually one of our most popular months because we start in October just saying, look, at the end of the day, as always, the decision is yours. But here's what you need to understand is that literally come January 1, regardless of when it was in service, regardless of how long you got it, the industry is going to look at it as an extra year old.
Huh.
And with an extra year old becomes an extra set of liability for the warranty company. So we always try to educate to say, look, if this is something you're interested in, start your process in October and November and see if the numbers work for you, see if the coverage works for you. If it does, great. But if it doesn't, at least be aware that next year things could change.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, when is the right time? Again, our kind of where our guiding compass is, it's the right time when you're ready. But, for those that need it, there are limitations. So, if you want those two that kind of listed or excluded coverage, that's 15 model years. Powertrain engine only, that's 20 model years. The best thing to do, in our opinion, is at the end of the day, if you talk to one of our warranty specialists, use them as a consultant, find out what your options are today, find out what they might be tomorrow, find out what they might be if your manufacturer warranty expires in 3 years. We can guesstimate where that's going to be. And then the individual, the customer, can decide what's best for them. Do they want to wait until their manufacturer's expired? And then you have, that dollar amount that may increase. Or is it something that it makes sense right now to overlap them for a short term, knowing that the manufacturer takes precedent, but that the pricing and the term are taking those into consideration?
Okay.
Hopefully that makes sense.
No, yeah, it's good information. You mentioned the term of the warranty. What are the lengths, the terms that, as far as 1-year coverage, 5-year coverage, 10-year, like what kind of duration are your warranties?
Those are going to go back to the variables on where and what the warranty company, the administrator, deems for the age, the miles, and the value.
Okay.
Most of the time we have options between 1 and 7 or 8 years, depending on how new the rig is.
Okay.
Some will be very limited. Some will say, look, you got a 2008 Newmar. We got a 3-year policy at the most for that one. So it can be rig specific and not necessarily manufacturer, but also age, miles, and value. So those are the things that will limit it or guide it. Typically our guiding or our recommendation is the longer you go, usually the less per year it is. And knowing that it's a prorated refund and things along those lines, people often will look at the longer term policy, but there will be times where we'll just say, unfortunately, the only option that we can provide is a 3-year. That's the longest that the administrator will take on the risk of that particular rig.
Okay, so that makes sense. So let's move into a hypothetical territory here. Say we have a warranty from you. We are out going to Yellowstone. I've been researching Yellowstone, so that's why I bring that up.
I recommend going in through the town of West.
Oh, really? Okay. So say we're in West, and all of a sudden our slide will not come in.
I don't like this hypothetical.
What? It was like, no.
Nope.
What is the process of finding a business, as far as a dealership or whatever, that will do the repair? How do we work through you? Like, just walk us through the process of, like, you have a breakdown, this is how we get it fixed.
Great question. Any warranty product, whether you get it from us, whether you get it from a different channel, the most important thing to do is to contact the administrator or contacting us to say, I'm in trouble. Not I'm in trouble, Ashley. I could use some professional assistance.
There you go.
Because at the end of the day, the warranty company is really good about saying, look, your repair, the price on that part should be X, and we'll allow up to about a 15-20% markup for the shop. The number of hours should be X. It should be a 4-hour repair based on the different staples that we have within the repair facilities. And all of that can be done prior to a mechanic starting the claim. If a mechanic has gone out there and diagnosed or even started some of the repairs, it is very difficult for an administrator to move backwards, to say, look, you've already put 8 hours into the job, but I'm only paying you 4. That's why we will always say, if you were in West and you were having some issues with the slide, the very first thing that you would want to do is call the administrator to say, I'm having issues. And you can ask them, what are my options? But really, at the end of the day, it's calling the administrator, saying, I'm having some issues, and then following the next steps there. Like I said, we do have a team that can help with a repair facility in West or a mobile mechanic in West.
You guys have connections in different parts of the country, and you could say, we recommend going to this place?
We do. We get the opportunity to deal with a lot of policies in force currently, and we've always recommended to loop us in, because even, let's say in West with a slide out, let's say it's not something that might be covered under warranty for whatever reason. Maybe it's wind, because the slide was open during a massive windstorm. That would fall under comp and collision, FYI. But really, where a lot of the benefit is too is that administrator, that warranty company can still work with that mobile mechanic or repair facility and say, look, that even if it's something that's out of pocket, the price point should be about here. And really, what it's allowing everybody to do is saying, this repair, we'll use a flex capacitor, should be about $500 with 4 hours of labor. Versus you're stuck in West and you just get a bill, or whoever gets a bill, and you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting, college tuition for a slide, but
I love that, as opposed to having to search Google and figure out what does it cost to repair or whatever. I have no idea what it costs. So that is a great resource.
And being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Well, and because that is a big concern, because RVs are so complex, right? If you think about it, it's a house on wheels. It's a massive engine. It can be moving all the time, or maybe it's only moving a year. But really, at the end of the day, it's so complex, and the reputation, isn't quite there yet where auto is. If you have a Toyota and you bring it to a Toyota dealer, you feel like you're getting pretty good pricing one way or the other. With RV, it's like, I don't know, flip a coin. I heard this the other day. It's in RV dollars, which is like a 500 multiple, right? If it costs you $1 for an auto, it's probably going to cost you about $500 for an RV. But utilizing the administrator and ourselves as a resource really helps cut that RV dollar down. But in your hypothetical in West, on your way into Yellowstone, the first rule of thumb is to call the administrator and let them know what's going on. Give us a call so we can be there. And if we can provide any value, any resource, that's why we're in business.
Okay.
So here's a question. We're going off the books.
It's not allowed.
Oh, sorry.
No,
It's not, no. So say this all happens on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be able to call on a Saturday morning?
Fair. So, two-part question. Let me answer it in two ways, or educate on two ways. So, first is a lot of the warranty companies will have web, email, or voice. Most of the administrators are going to be there close to 24/7, kind of like roadside assistance, right? If you break down at 2 a.m, you're expecting somebody to answer. Now, the biggest part, again, isn't necessarily if you do break down in a hypothetical, it's the middle of the night, you're stranded, you don't know what to do. The best thing to do is get yourself safe. That's by far the first thing that we would recommend. The repair the dollars, that will come secondary and will help assist with that. And we oftentimes will talk to the administrator on behalf of our customer to say, look, it was 1 a.m. outside of Phoenix on the side of the freeway.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait until 8 a.m. when it's convenient for you. We're going to recommend that they get service, they get themselves and their family safe, and then we'll go down that process thereof after. So I think with any scenario like that, the first thing to do is obviously get the rig into a safe spot. Secondary is, that Friday night, that Saturday morning, at least document what's going on. And so whether that's email to us, whether that's email to the administrator, is basically saying, look, last night I had something going on. Expect Monday morning that shop A, B, and C are going to be giving you a call because we needed service. And oftentimes that will be just fine, because also in those examples of Friday night at 9 o'clock, chances are high the repair facility isn't going to be operational at that same time. So a good rule of thumb as well is if the RV repair facility is operational, chances are high ourselves and the administrator are operational.
Cool.
Awesome.
So the last question I have on my list is, how do I know if my vehicle or my RV qualifies for a warranty, whether it be it's too old, I've done too many modifications, I got too many miles, like how do we know?
Okay, fair. We encourage you first to call us, give us a buzz, tell us what you have going on, and we'll navigate it from there. 20 model years and newer, so we're going back now to rigs that are 2020. If you have a 1985 retro, probably not a lot of options there.
But I just have to say that it blows my mind that 2020 or 2000 was 20 years ago. That's crazy. Anyway, that's a side note. But
Y2K, I was talking about it.
I know.
It was a thing. That's a different, we'll do that one later. We'll do Y2K sometime in June or July. But, any used rig that's a 2020, 2000 or newer, there's something out there for you. The best way to find out if you're eligible is to give us a call and tell us what you have. We can quickly give you kind of a few options and see if they fit. The other thing that we do on just about every used vehicle is we send out a private inspector to take a look at the rig, to see what the warranty company, basically assessing the liability or the risk of the warranty company, but it's also bringing you some peace of mind as well to say, especially if you're buying it from, Joe down the street, may not know how it's been kept, the service. So we'll do a private inspection. We run a Carfax on it just to make sure that everything's on the up and up. And then once that documentation comes back, then we say, here are the options that we have for you based on the variables of your rig, the inspection report, and the Carfax.
That's very cool. So say we are looking at a used rig, we could call you guys and you would set up a private inspector to come out and look at it and actually like find all the hidden problems with it potentially to help with give you that peace of mind for buying a used rig.
I won't say we'll find all the hidden problems, right? Because the RV is massive.
True.
But what we do is we will inspect the rig. We encourage our customers not to use it as a yes or no, should I buy? Okay. Because it's not a pre-inspection. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a pre-purchase inspection. It's a pre-warranty inspection. So the warranty company is really looking to see, okay, do the slides work? Are they operational? Does the awning go in and out? Does the heater heat? Does the air conditioning cool? Does the water run in the toilet, the sink, and the bathroom? So the warranty company is making sure that the mechanical components are in good working order. And if they're not, highlighting them to say, look, this, you got some corrosion here, you have this here. And then oftentimes our clients will work with the seller to say, hey, can you fix these 2 items before I pick up the rig? So even though we implore you not to use it as a purchase tool or a yes or no, it is a nice feature to have, especially if you're looking to go into a purchase. And it's not just private parties. Oftentimes our inspectors are heading out to dealers to inspect their rigs. And that's one of the bigger leverages that a buyer would have is if it's at a dealership lot and we send an inspector out and we're like, hey, there's no hot water. They're doing those repairs before you actually purchase it. So even though I'm saying we don't encourage it, it doesn't hurt. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's all of my listed questions. Do you have any other topics you wanted to cover, words of wisdom, or anything you want to part? It could even be not RV related.
Words of wisdom. I would say get out there and live life. I think if anything, with what's going on in our nation today, if you're new to the RVing world, or if you're checking out, James and Ashley just by chance, the RV community is a incredible community. And if you've ever thought about getting out and seeing what this great nation has, I think now is the time. We're here to help along the way. We come from a place where our owner started just as a way to support RV power sport, things like that. Yep. We consider ourselves not high pressure sales. We would rather educate you and make an informed decision and tell us no than to say yes and regret it along the way, or say yes and be bitter, a year down the line. And so any way that we can help support the RV community, educate, bring our experience, bring our knowledge, that's what we're here to do.
Very cool. I don't think I could have set you up better, because what you said basically fits our motto that we close every vlog with, which is stay positive, guys. Get out there. Life is an adventure, so make some memories. Alright guys, just finished it. So overall I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. Other than that crack.